all of my friends, my fans, and my fellow FTFLers to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football update show out there. That's right, boys and girls, it is the FTFL Weekly Update, and not only am I the host of this award-winning program, not only am I the owner of the two-time league champions, not only am I the owner of the hammer straight from the halls of Valhalla itself. Oh, we're going to relive that one again, Peter, this week. I am also your reigning, defending, undisputed champion of the Frozen Tundra Football League. At least for a couple more weeks. That's right, boys and girls, women, men, children of all ages. God, the belt is stuck on something. It is I, Brett. See, you know what? I probably got stuck on this last stupid-ass number muncher sign. You know what? We got an email this week from the damn number muncher. Yeah, hard pass. You will never, and I promise you when I say this, ever see that fool or hear from him again on this program ever again. Woo! All right, folks. Boy, oh boy, we done did it. Playoffs, week 1, it's in the books. The byes are over, and now we get down to the nitty-gritty. Jeff and Sid advanced again. I guess you could say again, because let's be clear, according to one of the numerous dumb charts the number muncher sent me, one of them did lay out very clearly that Jeff and Sid lead the league in titles at 4 and 3 apiece. Sid would have had 4. However, he lost. This is why this sits upon my shoulder right now. Eric and Andy, of course, now getting ready to play Jeff and Sid in the semifinals. For me, another year, another championship game I will be in. Of course, not the championship game I hoped to be in. However, consolation championship is won in the title itself, championship. That's right. Now, this one, of course. Now, Peter, since you've entered the league, you're 0-2 against me, which is why I have this cute little hammer of yours, and I plan on keeping it. This week, we are also going to break down the top cringy, now speaking of Peter, the top cringy nominations on the season. Will he find himself dominating the list as he did last year? We'll have to go ahead and see. And lastly, before we dive into the games, the Reaper strikes again. 3 left. 2 to go. Who will the Reaper be taking this week? It might be the coach, the owner of the first team in our games this week. Make Cramerica great and glorious again, coming in at 9-5, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys at 7-7. Kind of somewhat sort of a Cinderella story. Last year, we know, failed to score 1,000 points. This year, fell back asswards into Josh Jacobs, and the rest is history, and history is what Salty's playoff run is. 55.5 for him, 89.5 for Sid. If you're Sid, Dak Prescott, 22 points. Finally, starting the better quarterback on your team. Well done, Sid Hagen. See what happens when you listen to me? You win. Justin Jefferson, 20 points. Tyreek Hill, 14.5. Austin Eckler, 11. 4 players for Sid at 5 and under. So it was great that he had his top dogs playing all out for him. Mixon, 4.5. Devontae Adams, 2 weeks in a row now where he has underperformed. If Sid is going to beat Eric next week, he has to have Devontae with a big game. Speaking of big game, we were going to talk about Kirk Cousins the third day on the bench. Who cares? Anyways, if you're Saltmarsh, Adam Goff. Jared Goff with 14. Brett Maher with 12. 4 at 4.5 for below. Zonovan Knight, who had averaged 9 over the last 3 weeks, got himself a big fat 0. Even with 9, Salty still would have lost. He heads off to the 5th place game. Sid marches on in search of a league-tying 4th championship title. All right, owner of that 4th title is none other than Mana 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title stealing, thieving McThief face champ coming in 8-6, taking on everyone's favorite D's Nuts. I was pulling for D's Nuts. I was really hoping that D's Nuts would grab a hold and just straighten things out and take this thing all the way to victory. However, it wasn't to be so. A half point, 1/2 point is all that separated these two. 81.5 for Jeff, 81 for Adam Swart. His season again ends in the first round of the playoffs. If your marks are Justin Fields, season-saving individual. Lamar Jackson comes out in the first 3-4 weeks of the season completely on fire, falls off the face of the planet. Of course, now he's been hurt. Jeff picks up Justin Fields off the scrap heap. The Bears say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to let this kid run, and run he has, and he continues to run. 24 points for him as he carries Jeff to the semifinals. A.J. Brown, 16.5, Chubb, 6, Etienne, 9, Kenneth Walker, the third, 6. They had 21. Usually they average about 29.5 combined. An underperforming week for them. Will Jeff be able to allow that to happen and survive next week against Andy? Yet to be seen. Jalen Waddle, 17.5, Jahan Dotson, 14. Both of them on the bench. Jeff has players where he has to look and say, you know what, am I going to start the right guy? Now, his opponent this week, I would argue, same thing. Andy has a lot of that going on his team. If you're Swart, yet another season of what might have been. Maybe we'll find out what might have, why this went wrong when we get to the cringy nominations. If you're Swart, Joe, the mistake Burrow, 30 points. Really not a mistake at all. Not as good as Josh Allen, but not all that much worse. Nick Folk, 13. Devontae Smith, 10.5. Miles Sanders, done did you wrong, son. Half point for Miles. He's been averaging almost 10.5 points a week. I don't need to be a math teacher in Browerville to be able to tell you that the difference there would have been the victory. Dalton Schultz, 1 point. You're like, wait, doesn't Swart have George Kittle? The guy that he drafted in the second round, who for the second straight year has been mostly a bust. Yes, he does have George Kittle. Like, hold on. Didn't George Kittle completely go off on Thursday Night Football for 24 points? And you would be correct again. And then I know your brain is click-clacking away. You're going, hold up, wait. So Swart played Dalton Schultz and didn't? So had he played George Kittle, he would have won? That is correct. Theory of deduction, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, Swart, you would have wanted to play George Kittle. I guess I don't blame you for not playing George Kittle, but then again, losing in the first round playoffs does seem to be your M.O. All right, before we get to the consolation side of the bracket, let us take a moment to reflect, to look back on this season and all of its cringy-worthy moments. Now, of course, last year, Saltmarsh became the first ever cringy, award winner when he failed to score 1,000 points. Will that feat be replicated again? Here we go to the list. Honorable mention, Peter somehow had an extra player on his roster. Who knows how this, came to be? However, we will find out further down this list that an extra player is probably what Peter needed. Another honorable mention, Swart kept Cam Akers. Swart's keepers over the last couple of years have been kind of all over the place. Cam Akers, wasn't doing much, almost got traded, almost got cut. Now he's playing he's back with the Rams, and someone else has him, and he's scoring points, but not for Adam Swart. Or is he? Did he play for, you know what? I don't even know where Cam Akers is because it really doesn't matter. Honorable mention for that. Number 10 on the list, Swart. Josh Allen, you didn't keep him. You could have. You maybe should have. Not saying he would have taken you to the promised land. However, he was a big reason that Eric was 11-3 this year. You finished 8-6. Maybe it would have got you another couple of victories, maybe even a first-round bye, and you could have gotten out of the first round of the playoffs. Number 9 on the list. I've been holding on to this one for a long time. We could argue that maybe this should be higher. For the second time in what seems like 3 seasons, Adam Saltmarsh, for an entire season, had an open spot on his roster. He had 16 players. That's right. We have 17 spots. Something about the number 17 obviously doesn't sit well with Saltmarsh because he refuses to have that 17th guy on his team. Number 8, Sid trading for Alexander Madison, thinking he had Dalvin Cook, only to realize that was a different league. The following week, Dalvin Cook did actually then beat Sid. When you trade for a guy as a backup for a player you don't even have, that's next level kind of stuff, my friend. Number 7, Markser picked up a second defense. You're like, oh, okay, so you carry 2 defenses. Before the season even started, he drafted a defense, and then even before week 1, he had to pick up another one because he didn't trust the defense he had drafted. Number 6, we had a lot of trades this year. Probably the one that got looked at the closest was Dalvin Cook, Gabe Davis for Aaron Jones, St. Brown. Also, of course, going to Andy with Cook and Davis was a first-round pick, so it maybe was lopsided. Add up the points. Jones, St. Brown, 284.5. Cook and Gabe Davis, 265.5. I'm going to have a couple keepers. I'm going to be minus a first-round pick. This could have been worse. I thought it was going to be worse, but it did make the list at number 6. Number 5, speaking of trades, the Kamara trade. Swart adding hopefully a top-flight running back, and let's be clear, I kept him thinking he would be a top-flight running back. And he didn't score his first touchdown till the week after I traded him to Swart, where he scored 3. He has failed to score a touchdown in the 5 or 6 games since. I got a second and a third round pick for Alvin Kamara. Those are going to be cornerstone players when we rebuild and recapture the gold next season. Number 4 on this list, John playing Kenneth Gainwell. Multiple weeks. The number 56 running back in our league. Week after week after week, John kept trotting him out for God knows what reason. Didn't have anyone better, I guess. Then again, there was 55 other guys. I know, some on rosters, but probably could have found somebody in the free agent pool. Alas, you didn't. Speaking of the free agent pool, number 3, Salty needed a quarterback. His quarterback was out. He went ahead and picked up a quarterback who hadn't played in almost 2 years. Started him. Deshaun Watson, that bum. Number 2, you're thinking to yourself, hold on, Brett. Now, last year, Peter Vingy dominated this list, and we have not heard Peter's name once. Number 2 on this list is a 3-parter, all belonging to the namesake Peter Vingy himself. 2A, Peter started J.K. Dobbins in week 2. He was out. Peter started Brandon Cooks in week 9. He was out. Peter, at least once, but I think twice, had to be told ahead of the noon start time to change his lineup. Remember, this was the guy who somehow rostered an extra player, yet couldn't figure out how to get the right guy in his lineup or pay enough attention to actually have all active players when it mattered most. Peter, you were number 2 on this list. Maybe we're number 1 and looking to finally bring home the hardware, bring it back to where it belongs. Alas, what got someone the Cringy Award last year, I believe, should get them the Cringy Award this year. Matt, in a 14-game season, failed to score 1,000 points. I know, Number Muncher. You're sitting at home and you're going, but Brett, well, you almost didn't score 1,000 points. You know what? Almost. That's right. Almost. Only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, my friends. I did score over 1,000 points. Therefore, I am not. Now you're like, oh, but Brett, you were the champ. You should have played. We got a long list of champs who didn't really perform well the following season. It happens. That's my top 10 cringy nominations. Of course, we'll vote on that at next year's draft. Now, to the consolation side of the bracket, Hulkamaniacs 5 and 9 coming in, taking on the Architect, who might just be the new Peter Vingy Cringy Award winner at 3 and 11. 89.5 for me, 66 for Matt. Aaron Jones, 16. AJ Dillon, welcome back there. Quadzilla, the Quad Father, 17.5 for him. Taysom Hill as a tight end threw a touchdown. Woohoo! 12 points. Rodgers and Myers both with 10. Trevor Lawrence, 34 on the bench. I had 87 points on my bench. Points Palooza. Yeah, thanks a lot, fellas. Where's that been all season? If you're Matt, Derek Carr, 22 points. David Montgomery. David Montgomery sighting, 19.5 for him. 5 players of 4 and below, including Darnell Mooney on the IR, still started. Is that going to be a $5 thing or not? I want to know, because I picked up players at week, by God, 14 when I had already been eliminated from the playoffs. Just so I didn't have to incur the $5. Now, I know consolation doesn't mean much. Still a game. I don't know. It was an incomplete roster. Commish, what say you? Matt falls to 3 and, 14, 15, 16, 7, whatever it is on the season. I head off to the championship game on the consolation side against the Valhalla Vandals, who came into their game at 4-10, taking on Team Dickweed at 4-10. And Peter rose to the occasion, 82.5. Stomped out Dickweed, 64 for John. Patrick Mahomes, who Peter probably should have made better use of, being the number 1 quarterback in all of the league. 28 points for him. Run CMC, 17. James Conner, 13.5. 4 players at 4 or below and 10 points on his bench. Saquon Barkley is 16.5 for John. No one else in doubles. Evan McPherson, 9. They were the only 2 players who had 9 points or more for John. John limps his way into the toilet bowl game against the Architect. All right, let's dud. And, oh, wait. Yeah, we already kind of talked about the cringy stuff. We don't have to worry about that. And then we'll preview the game. Not preview, but at least let you know who's playing who. Start of the week, Justin Fields. And let's be clear. I talked about this. He saved Jeff's season. Will he take Jeff to a 5th? One for the thumb title? Oh, God, I hope not. Dud of the week, Miles Sanders. Again, did swore dirty, and I'm sure fantasy owners across the land got by Miles this week in his half point. Here we go. Playoffs week 2. Mixing cocktails at 11-3, taking on Mana 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering title stealing thieving McThief-face champ Mana at 9-6. The Pack Attack. Wow, what a season. 8-0 to start, 3-3 to finish the season. How are you feeling, Eric? Nervous? Palms sweaty? Knees weak? Arms are heavy? Yeah. Got vomit on your sweater? Mom spaghetti? All of that stuff. I know you're feeling it. I know you're thinking it. It's what's going to happen.
Welcome, FTFL, to the fantasy graveyard. The season has played out just as I had foreseen. Salty is no more. And as I told you last week, Brett and the Hulkamaniacs would be seeing purple in his future. And let alone, what do you know? I received an anonymous text from a friend of mine saying Brett said this was his favorite Vikings team and favorite Vikings game after they have set an NFL record coming back from 33 down. I foresee all. This week pits 2 teams in an epic battle for their fantasy lives. The Pack Attack and Grimerica. Last time these teams met, Grimerica defeated the Pack Attack and sent the once great Pack Attack on a downward spiral. Not even to hold the number 1 seed anymore this year. This week, the Pack Attack's run for a championship ends as Grimerica will take him down. Come now to the fantasy graveyard and see the Pack Attack's fate.
Hey, Reapy, you down there? I got some huge news. Oh, that Reapy. I love that guy. He's right up my alley, just taking people's souls and everything.
What? What is that? No, you fool! Stay up there! Oh, I'm so sorry. This time of recession, even the Reaper had to bring in a roommate, and the fool is gonna interrupt our show. Oh, did you even bring your own camera?
Yeah, I know. It'll only be a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt. You're such a great guy. I love you. Hey, everybody. Huge news. Donald Trump, I'm not making a political announcement. No, something even better. I am selling baseball cards digitally of myself. And I have brought examples. Oh, hold on. I'm almost done. Only $99. Check this out. Here, look, we got Rockstar Trump. Check that out. Oh, yeah. Nobody can play the drum better than Trumpy. Not anybody. Oh. And then we have good old baseball Trump right there. Oh, playing for the good old Minnesota Baseball Vikings. What a great team. What a great team. Only the best. Only the best. Only the best. And look at that. We got King Trump sitting on the throne. Come now, quick. They're going to go hurry. You can win great prizes. Maybe dinner with me. I don't know. I only know what they tell me. So, come right back. And we shall make a deal. All right. Back to Reaper.
I'm sorry for that. Oh, times are tough. Well, I'm sorry for last week as well. Bork, I release your soul back to you. Go now in peace. But remember, don't interfere with the Reaper. Now, to the fantasy graveyard. Walk with me through the graveyard. Oh, yes. Watch your body parts. Don't hurt yourself. Oh. Yes, Eric. There is always room on the Kirko Chains bandwagon. Oh, I think my roommate wrote this one. Packers fan living in Bears country. How sad. Oh, what do we have next? Yes, the beginning of the end. Now you are finished. Oh, we're getting closer. Oh no, Mario, what did you do? Oh, I see it. We are nearing the end. Yes. Better luck next year. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Woo! When you take on Make America Great and Glorious Again, Sid punched you smooth in the mouth earlier this year. You owe him one. Is it coming this week? Also, 5th place game, these Nuts taking on the Monkeys. Consolation Championship, Hulkamaniacs against Peter and his hammerless Valhalla Vandals at 5 and 10. And lastly, but not least, the Toilet Bowl Team Dickweed taking on Matt and the Architect Boyle Boy. It is a cold day here in Minnesota. It's going to be a cold weekend. Christmas is coming this Sunday, as is the Packers' chance to continue winning. Woo! Get excited. I hope you all have an amazing Christmas, spending time with family. Next week, the holiday special from a secret location. Can't wait to see you all then. But until we see you again, peace. What was that all about? I gotta go find Brett. I hope he's okay. Oh, gosh. Brett!